Hello all, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Who can see their timings, our videos. Let's connect with IT BoostUps. Today we are interesting topic. Who has having like a freshers more than 2 years experience, and they want to create a new project or new web application or the new website, and they want create a proper solution architect with the help of the three layers. Basically, it's like initial software architectures to start a new project or new web applications. Initial days, we are using the three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture, that means like we have the three different layers, like application layer, business layer, and data layers. In application layer, that means whatever we have said, the user interface. User interface, inside the user interface, we need to segregate that like our user logics, like user screens, like whatever we have put it. So today's lecture we will in MVC how we can create that three-tier architecture, how we can define the models, where we can define the constant file, where we can define the interface, where we can define the data logic. So today we will just create that three-tier architecture to start a new project. This is a very important and this is a very basic structure to start the web applications. Now I will share my this screen. User input values. I will create a new project. How we can create like if you want to create any e-commerce website or any web application or in any website, dynamic website, you can choose here like ASP.NET web application. We are like using the .NET framework because we have the Windows server. So I have choose the ASP.NET web application .NET framework. So yeah, so I will create here initial level. I will choose. I will create my for the IT BoostUp this. I will choose the IT BoostUp for the dynamic website. So I will choose here name. So we will give the proper naming conversations. IT BoostUp dot admin. So that means this is the we are creating admin panel for the IT BoostUp applications. So I have choose the IT BoostUp.admins, and I will choose the like here I will create a new folder, C demo for three-tier architectures. Sorry, three-tier. Okay, so here I will just create a new folder. I will select that folder and I will put the IT BoostUp.admin. This is our user interface. Like whatever we are creating, views, we are putting inside that. And I have chosen the framework, .NET framework 4.7.2. Just I will create the project. So here we have choose the MVC, and I will remove that HTTPS configuration part. So we'll create the MVC. So basically this is inside the MVC will create a three-tier architecture for any major or big e-commerce application. If you want to develop inside the MVC or the core technology, using three-tier architecture, so you can follow these steps to create a basic solution architectures. So it's creating that template, MVC template. It's taking time. We will wait. So meanwhile, it's like a very initial level. We had multiple design patterns like repositories, So like a multiple page like CQRS, like multiple patterns in coming this playlist we will create and will discuss like whenever you are like developing a new application as a developer you should clean the solutions whatever you are implementing. It should be clean and easily understanding. If if your application is a maintenance, it should be clean and understand to the new developer. So here is the like IT-boostup.admin. This is the MVC like MVC we have done that template inside like a controller content model. So we remove that models folder and we will add a new project for the common location for declaring the all models data. See, like I'm opening here like a paint, like for a few minutes. How it's like a three-tier application it's work. Like if you see here, like this is the our user. You can consider this is a user, and they have like user has asking the any page request. Okay, so like first this request goes to the user interface. So like whatever we are declaring just here, okay. So I am putting here like first like we have creating the user interface. Like what is the user interface? Whatever we have created that user interface. Like first we will be coming here the that user interface applications. Then we are hitting to the another layer, so that is the business logic layer. So we are creating another layer that called as a business. And we are again creating another layer that is called as a data. So here data, and here we are storing the actual data. Consider that this is the sorry. You can consider this is our database. So like it's like whenever end user is requesting, we will hit first user interface. User interface like it's again hitting to the business logic. Then business logic is hitting to the interface, and then interface is hitting to the actual database. This is the our like a big application workflow, like using the three tiers. So we have like creating multiple layers inside this work to complete the workflows. So you can see here, and the same way, like if you are hitting this way, like user interface, business, data, and the database. Again, like same way, response will be returning to the from the database to data, data to business, business to user interface, and user interface to the end users. So move on to like technical solutions. This is the user interface. We need to create another project like for the to maintain like our business logic. How we can add new project? So just new project file and new project, and we will add like a console application library. See here the class library for the .NET framework. I have choose this template, and I will put the name like I will put the same name IT Booster dot, but here I will change the name as a business logic layer. So like whatever we have the business logic we have written inside this project, like IT BoostUp.bll. I choose the .NET framework with the same locations I will create. So it's like I will delete that inbuilt class initially whatever they have given. So we have adding this new project like itboostup.bll. So inside this project we have written like whatever we had common business logic we have required to develop this e-commerce or this admin panel web portals. Now, again, I will create a new project for the data logic. Data logic, we have need to segregate inside two subcategories like interface and the actual method implementations. So I will create another class library for the .NET framework, and I will choose the name, or I will choose create a same name, IT BoostUp dot IDLS. IDLS, that means I means it's interface. So whatever we have creating an interface for this application, we are putting in a single common location, single or basic locations. That's why I have creating it is IDLs, interface data logic layers. So we have put like all interfaces inside this project. So this is our IDLL project. So for the implementations, I will create another project. That means IT BoostUp.dls. We have just created IDLS. Now I will create another ones for the IT BoostUp.dls. So I will put here the capital DLL means we have putting all ADO.NET logic. That means whatever we are interaction to the database, that will be code we will write here inside this library. So we are creating a data logic layer library for this applications. So I have created this DLLs. So like we have creating business logic layer, interface data logic layer, and the implementation of the logic layer, and this user interface. So like we can change, now we have required one thing, like we have deleting from here like model folder. Initially when we start this video, we have deleting models. So we required one another project, like we will create another project for the common activities. Common activities, that means if we require the constant files, common files, models, so we will create another project. That means IT stuff dot common. I will delete that input class. So this is the if you want develop a big applications, and if you want to use the three-tier application, three-tier patterns to implement that particular project or to create a solution architect, so you can follow the steps here you can write the user interface logic. Here you can inside this library you can put the business logic layer, you can define the models inside the common project, you can define the data logic layer inside this DLL project, and you can define the interface inside this the IDLL projects. So for the initial level, for the demo purpose, I will create a simple class like a login class. How we can define the logins? So in common, I will create a new folder here, new folder like models. I will create a folder models, and inside the model I will create a new class. Login model. So this is our login model. So inside the login models, I will create a two property, public string, public string, username, yes, should be public string, password. Will put the data annotation attribute when we start the major application. For the demo purpose, like I will not putting the like any data annotations. So we have created these models. Now I will create the one interface. Like here, you can create a new class. Like I will implement here like I will create interface like this way. I logins. I login CS. I login and DLS. So I login DLL. I will create this class files to whatever login related functions like login, get users, like insert the users. We will create inside this class files. So I have created this interface, and that interface like we will just like add that integer add users along with the this login models. So I will like add this login model reference inside the this interface models. So I will adding the reference here the I login model. So we have just create the interface, not an implement. Where we need to implement this method logic inside the data logic library. So I will create here another class files. Like I will create another class file here, and I will put the name of that file will be login here. So here I will public because we need to access, and I will inherit this interface to inside the implementation class because we need to implement this method here in this data logic layers. I will put here like a public integer add user, and I will write here the DB logic. DB insertion logic will write the DB insertion logic after when we start the actual project. Okay, for this three-tier architecture demo, I will just not implement the whole logics. So we need to reference the interface here. So I will return integer result is equal to 0, and I will return a result. Here we need to reference the common project also. So in data logic, you can see in data logic, we are putting two references, like one is the common reference project and another was the interface project reference. So we have completing this data logic layer also. We have done data logic, common, and the interface also. Now we will move on the business logic, where we have putting the our interactions, like where interaction between user interface and the interface, that is the data logic layer. So I will add new class, and I will put the name of the login DLL. So here, like I will create the object of the interface. So I will create the object of the interface inside the constructor. I will create a constructor here. and I will define the private thing login DLL OBC. I will put the reference, interface reference inside the business logic, and I will initialize object here with the login DLL. I need to put another reference is a DLL. So here I will create one method public integer add user, and I will put the login models, and I will call this method from the here, like this method automatically it's coming and it's required the login models as a parameters. So I will pass, and it's written that I will add a common reference here, and I will return that method. So we have written that if any business logic you want to implement, here you can implement before processing to the data logic layers. You can implement the business logic here inside these layers. Now we have written the business logic layers. Now we can come to the our main user interface. Here we need to create like a log or authentication controller. I will create a new controller like auth controller. Here I will create auth controller, and inside the auth controller, we need to create a login post methods like just it's creating a controller. So it's like very clean architecture. So like if you want like a big maintenance application, and if you want to use the three-tier architecture, so you can follow the this class library solution also. So I will create a new action method here, action result, and I will create a login mechanism. So for initial level, I will create this HTTP gate to create login, and it's returning the view. So we will create a view. How we can create a view? Just right click and add view here. So it's automatically creating a view. I will choose the by default the layout page. Now I will create another action method for storing the add users. So I will put the HTTP post here because we need to add users. I will create here public JSON result, and I will pass a, I will create action name as add user. And here I will pass the login model. So if we are using the login models, where we have defined these login models, we have created a new common project. So we need to add a reference of that particular common project inside the user interface. So we have done this part. Now we'll go to the business logic. Now before going to the calling, I will create a constructor for the auth controller to create an object of business logic. So I will create a private read only, and I will copy the my business logic class here. where auth controllers. I will include the reference of the business logic layer inside the user interface. And I will create an object login BLN OBJ. Okay, and I will initialize that object inside the constructor using new keywords. Let's see, I will here login dot add user. That means we have put here will pass and we are returning a JSON. We require the return a JSON and we need to pass allowget. Why we require allowget? Because in jQuery or JavaScript we need it's returning the JSON format. So we'll do the by catch implementation also here. We will create a like common exception filter. So for time being, I will just show that if any exception is coming, I will show that exception here using show. Yes. So like we have done this part. So like first like as part of this painter diagram, like whenever user is hitting to the user interface is hitting to the business logic and data will be implementation. See here, like this is the our first like whenever a end user is asking for the adding the users, first we'll be hitting the pointer will be coming user here, add users. Then we are creating object of business logic here. I will jump here in that particular methods add business logic layer. So we are coming to the business logic. See here the business logic layer, and we'll pass the like I will F12 and it's coming to the interface. So it's like a clean and a very easily understandable free-tier architecture. If you want to develop a big application with the MVC or the .NET Core or any like ASP.NET, doesn't matter the technology. Like if you are implement Java, Pythons, and if you want to use the like a free-tier applications, and if you want a clean architecture, you can follow these libraries like separate library for the interface, separate library for the data logic, separate library for the common activities. Inside the common, we have like a create a model, like a constant. Also, you can create a new folder for the constant variables. Like if you want like a constant, everything you can like common activities. You can put the common projects and your business logic, and this is the admin. So this is the three-tier architectures. If you want to like put like debug this application how it's work, so I will run the applications and I will put the like simply put the debugger point to hit that particular methods. If you want to develop your big applications using free-tier architecture, you can follow this solution architecture format. This is the solution architecture format where we need to put our logic, our files. It should be clean. See, like where like it's easily understanding architecture like IDL, DLL, common, and the business logic layer and the user interface. So you can use this architecture so for your for your project. If you want to develop a big application or a normal application using free tier, you can use this format. Thank you. Be connected with IT BoostUp. We will implement this three-tier architecture for the minor project or mini project or the major project in incoming days. And we will next video, like whatever we have created this three-tier architecture, we will upload in a GitHub repository. So you can also download this clean architecture. So for this video, this will be just we have created this three-tier architecture. Thank you. Be connected with IT BoostUp. Thanks. Bye-bye.